my name is Nick Kirstein, and this is my presentation on the peacock, or the Pavocurstasis. For this project, I will mainly be focusing on the train of the peacock and the effects that the train has on the lives of the peacock. I will also be focusing on how the feathers change over time and how they get to be different colors. I will also focus on how the peacock lacks the ability to fly for long distances, and I will also focus on the environment of the peacock. In this project, I will study how the environment can affect the life of a peacock. To start off this project, I will be focusing on how the peacock relates to ecology. The peacock has a lifespan of 20 years, and this is both in wild and in captivity. The peacock is an omnivore, which obviously means that it does eat plants and animals. The peacock is found in regions of Africa and India. The peacock is well known for its massive train, which is the feathers that come out of the tail of the peacock. This train does in fact slow down the peacock, which then makes it very vulnerable to predators like a mongoose, jungle cats, stray dogs, leopards, and tigers. Next, I am going to be focusing on the anatomy and evolution of the peacock. The peacock is one of the greatest examples of Darwin's theory of sexual selection. Sexual selection has showed up a lot in the evolution of the tail of the peacock. Payfins, or female peacock, choose the male based on the size and shape of the train. A better looking tail or train equals better health for a peacock, and better health for a peacock means a healthier baby. So the females strive for that better looking male so they can have better offsprings. Next, I will be focusing on the heredity and genetics of the peacock. If a young peacock has a more elaborate tail than other young peacocks, then when it becomes older, it will still have that more elaborate tail and thus be able to breed easier. In a study conducted by Marion Petrie and Tim Halliday, they proved that there is a direct correlation between the number of eyes that appear on a peacock's train to its mating success and the eyes that are produced on the offspring of these peacocks. This study also shows that since the peacocks with less elaborate trains are dying out, these less elaborate genes will also die out with them, which means that more and more peacocks are going to have these more elaborate trains. Next, I'm going to be focusing on the central dogma and the nucleic structure of the peacock. The bone structure of the peacock is relatively similar to other birds. The percent lengths of bones, like the tibia and tarsometartarsus, are similar between animals like the peacock and an animal that can fly for long periods of time, like the golden eagle. One bone that has a percent length that is very different between the peacock and an animal like the golden eagle is the tibia. The tibia has a lot different proportions found on a peacock than a golden eagle, which may have a direct correlation between the reason that the peacock can fly for shorter distance of time compared to the golden eagle, which can fly for long distances. This means that somewhere down the line of evolution, there was a break, and some of these animals that could fly for long periods of time evolved into having slightly different bone structures than the ones that cannot fly, like the peacock. Altogether, this means that the DNA found in the peacock is very similar to the DNA found in another bird, like the golden eagle, but there is a break that happened in evolution a long time ago that changed their DNA slightly, which all in all could decide if this animal can fly for long periods of time or not. Next, I'm going to be talking about the energy transfer and cellular respiration in the peacock, and this is not that much different as compared to other birds, because the Pavocurstasis does not need to fly as other birds may need to, so proportionally, the Pavocurstasis or peacock would need a lot less energy. Next, I'm going to be focusing on the peacock's response to the environment, which also includes osmosis and diffusion. In a study by two Japanese men, Yoshioka and Kinoshita, the peacock's train shape forms a bell-shaped curve. This means that a peacock with a less elaborate train would attract little to no mates and will not reproduce that effectively. A peacock with a larger train can find mates very well and reproduce very well. A peacock with a very elaborate train would be too large to move fast and would fall victim to many predators. Next, I'm going to be talking about the peacock's cellular structure and function. A peacock's elaborate feather colors are not caused by pigments, but by structural coloration. This means that even though a peacock has feathers that are all pigmented brown, different wavelengths hit these pigments and cause these wavelengths to change color and thus produce these very iridescent looks that we see when we view a peacock's feathers. Lastly, I would like to talk about the thermodynamics and organic molecules found in the peacock. The peacock cannot fly for an extended period of time due to many factors like its lack of wingspan, its bone proportions, and its ability to produce energy to sustain flight for a long period of time. This relates to the second law of thermodynamics, which says that even though the peacocks have some similarities with other animals that could fly for long periods of times, its wings just make it impossible for it to sustain these long periods of flight. So even though the peacock cannot fly long distances like a golden eagle, it still shares similar molecules like bone, muscle, and other tissues that all are found similar in many different types of birds that all give them the same aspects that they do. That is all I have for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned as much about the peacock that I have.